everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to round up the interest series. This video is going to be called Extreme Interests, Special Interests, Extreme Love and Extreme Hate. What I wanted to talk to you about in this video was the sort of dynamic the interests have in my life. There's this sort of dynamic between, on the one hand, my interests bring me an extreme sense of meaning, an extreme sense of connection, an extreme sense of order. You know, they literally mean the whole wide world to me. I get very, 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 very interested in particular areas at particular times, or particular. It might not even be an interest. Sometimes it's just a routine that I get fixated on, or something that has to happen a certain way, and then basically my whole life is dominated by that, and nothing. And if something gets in the way, I'm devastated. And it makes me feel extremely angry and extremely annoyed. So an interesting thing about my interests is that, as I say, on the one hand, they bring me a lot of anxiety. They make me very, very anxious. For example, I have this extreme fear around not being able to access my interests, or if my interests get disturbed, or if my interests get disrupted. I'm constantly on the alert. I'm constantly full of stress. I'm constantly full of anxiety, constantly full of adrenaline, 24/7, because I'm always worried that something is going to come between me and my interests, or the particular obsession of the moment. If I don't access that interest, my life feels like it's going to enter some sort of void, like everything's going to disintegrate and I won't have any meaning, I won't have anything left. And things just don't go to plan. It just makes me very, very kind of disorientated. And this kind of overlaps with my OCD as well. I have OCD, although to what extent is actually separate from the autism is debatable. I'll talk about this in another video. But certainly my OCD is around, very closely connected to my need for things to be the same, and my need for things to be absolutely spotlessly perfect. So I have OCDs around contamination and illness, which is like a classic contamination OCD that, you know, is quite common for people, even people without autism. That type of OCD is quite common in the general population, and people have these fears for all sorts of reasons. In my case, I do think it's quite heavily connected to my need for things to be kept the same, because part of the reason why I fear getting ill and contamination is because that would be a change to my normal routine. That would stop me from being able to complete my interests. And this particular OCD around germs gets a lot more severe in the days and weeks, say, prior to me taking part in an activity that I'm really, really looking forward to. So to give an example, one of my interests is public speaking, hence why I do these videos. And this is more of a sort of recent interest that has only really developed over the last couple of years. But I do like public speaking. I like talking about my experiences. I think it kind of gives me a sense of validation, a sense of meaning and a sense of purpose. But it means the world to me, because so when I'm about to take part in a talk and it's all been arranged, it's all been planned, it needs to happen. So I'm really, really worried that I might get ill, which is silly fear, because I hardly ever get ill. You know, I'm pretty healthy, so I shouldn't really have this fear, because, you know, I should be able to trust that the likelihood of me getting ill is very, very unlikely. I haven't been ill for quite a number of years in any way that would prevent me from doing anything. So this fear is a little bit unfounded. But nevertheless, I get really, really worried about getting ill and germs. So before an event like that, I would essentially become a hermit, kind of. Well, not like a complete hermit, but in like the days beforehand, I will start becoming more OCD about food that I'll be eating. I'll be more OCD about like going near people who might be ill, because I don't want to catch anything that will stop me from taking part in this event. That means the absolute world to me, because what would I do if I couldn't take part in that event? I'd be absolutely devastated. So my OCD gets a lot worse. I have OCDs all the time anyway, but when I haven't got anything on the horizon that's really big, they're not quite as severe, and I'll be a bit more relaxed around things, and I'll be able to challenge my OCDs more, and they won't have such a hold over my life. So that shows I think they are quite connected to autism, because it gets a lot more severe when it's concerned, when my interests need to happen a certain way. It's connected to my need for routines to be fulfilled in a particular way, and my very extreme need for things to be absolutely perfect, and how I have pre-arranged them in my mind that they have to happen a particular way. I'm very finicky about that. Things have to happen a particular way, my way, basically. I can introduce little changes myself, but other people cannot introduce changes unless I give them my consent, and that makes me very stressed. So yeah, and in the past, when I was obsessed with Kate Winslet, and my OCD was a lot worse in the past, I think because that was before I knew I was autistic, and just being at school was extremely stressful. So I had really quite bad OCD, but the thing is I didn't talk about it to anyone else, but apart from my family, they sort of knew bits about it. They didn't know the whole picture. I mean, it was very secretive. But I used to do things like breath hold, because I was really worried about getting germs. So when I was at school, I used to hold my breath. If there are like people coughing around me, I like be holding my breath. It's awful. I don't like thinking about it. Yeah, it really wasn't very good, and gave me headaches, and I couldn't concentrate. But I didn't tell anyone, because, you know, it's quite secretive OCD. And these got a lot worse, say, when Kate Winslet was about to release a film at the cinema, and the whole thought of possibly getting ill and stuff beforehand was really quite awful, so I would get really bad OCDs around that. And also, my OCDs link in as well with me taking information literally. So, for example, one of my earlier interests, as I mentioned before, obviously I'm very interested in food, nutrition, and that's a lifelong interest. Also, when I used to be interested in babies, used to be parenting magazines, I read a lot of stuff, and I took it the wrong way. So if I would read stuff about bacteria and certain types of cheese, it applied to pregnant women. But in my mind, that meant I could get ill from eating certain types of cheese. So basically, because I took it literally and no one was there to explain it to me and what it meant, so basically I took it too far, and I stopped eating a lot of food I previously liked, thinking that it was no longer safe. And that was really bad, and really not very nice, because food's one of my interests, and I couldn't enjoy these foods anymore. But on the other side of a coin, that same interest in food has helped me overcome the OCD, which is an interesting dynamic. And this is quite recent, and only thanks to the amazing support I've been getting from Lima, Low Intensity Autism Management, and also my support worker from Autism Sussex. I had a long-standing OCD around like contamination, around like touching like raw fish and stuff. But because of my really strong interest in food and like wanted to get the omega-3s and like health benefits and stuff, I've been able to overcome that and like rationalise it, think, okay, look, the likelihood of actually getting ill is like really remote, and like, you know, it's really remote. And doing it with my support worker, cooking these things, I've grown in confidence, and now I can actually handle it and eat it. So I've basically overcome that one almost, and I want to get to the point where I can do it on my own. So these were long-standing OCDs that all came from taking things literally and too far, but and connected to my interest in the first place. But that same interest has helped me to overcome them ultimately. So that's the interest. That's why I call it extreme love, not extreme hate. That's probably the wrong word for it. I meant to say, did I say extreme hate? If I did, I meant extreme fear. Extreme love, extreme fear. That's basically what I want to say. The dynamic. And likewise with my interest in, say, public speaking and stuff. I'm quite scared about going to new places, but my need to complete my interest and to do my public speaking has enabled me to travel to places I wouldn't normally travel to, all thanks to the power of that special interest giving me that extreme motivation and push. So autism's a funny one. It gives you these fears, but it can also give you the way of overcoming fears, certainly in my case, which might not be there if I wasn't autistic. So maybe there is a silver lining in being autistic after all, and it actually does have a positive. Who knows? So yes, I hope you enjoyed watching.